Good afternoon. If everyone can come in, we'll begin. This is our 26th annual meeting, and I was unsuccessful in finding out the duration of the mean duration of a marriage in the United States. The reason was also because it was broken down by age groups, and that made it a little more difficult to come up with an exact number. But I would be not incorrect in saying there are not too many these days that survive for 26 years. So we are extremely lucky to have all of you with us. And I'd like to begin by thanking Brookline High School for giving us this privilege to meet here. And though it's a little out of the way for many of you, it's still a central point, a focal point, where we can all meet. There's at least enough space to park the cars round about somewhere, and for all of you to walk in and be. And the room has generally been big enough for us to sit, and there's enough space for us to have lunch as well. We want to thank Mr. Buxton, who was extremely instrumental in getting this room for us in the beginning, and we continue to hang on to the good luck he brought to us that we are still able to keep this going. Mr. Stillman, as you know, has passed away. Mrs. Stillman has not been very well since his demise, and she has finally decided to move to New York, or I should say upstate of Manhattan, a little north of Manhattan in Westchester County, where one of her sons live, so she can live in an assisted living place not too far from him. We do very, very much miss them, and they're wonderful for so many years in helping us with this get-together. Patricia and Robert Peckrell have indeed taken their place, and we want to thank them. And on behalf of all of you, I have a small token for them to express our gratitude to you. I'm going to ask Dr. Linda Hill to give it to them.
Thank you very much. Privileged to be. Dr. Ahmed, you need to.
I'll be in the middle.
Good to go there? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd just like to introduce our staff. There have been just some minor changes, so you should really know all of them. I think everybody in this room knows Phyllis. She has been the longest member of our team, and there are many patients who think, how could life go on without Phyllis? We have a new nurse, a delightful young lady who doesn't live too far from here, and that's Tiana in the back. Vicky has left us about the beginning of the year, and her place has been taken by Bruce, and I think many of you know Bruce, and Bruce is right in the back there. Where Bruce used to sit, we are lucky to hire another young man, and that's Mike, and he's sitting right behind there. One of the it's to make all of you feel young and energized. There's one additional person who is a man for all seasons. He does virtually anything the office wants and is more than willing to lend a helping hand to anything the office requires at any moment of time. He's also the one who pulls all the IVIG for those who got IVIG and the rituximab. This is Ike, and he's sitting right up front here. In large measure, we are grateful to Kathy Carson, though she's unable to make our meetings, but she's the one who makes the clock tick because she's the billing person and is helpful to us in solving these very difficult financial issues with insurance company. Two of the research team people are not here today. One is on a little bit of a time off, and the other is who's Sean. And Tegan is a very pleasant young lady who also does very good work, and she's running a 10K run for some very noble cause today, so they are not here. But I do want to introduce Saad, who's sitting there, and Saad is a young dermatologist from Kuwait. Over the last few years, we have been very fortunate in having people who are either just finished their training in dermatology or are still in the process of finishing it, to come and spend sometimes 1 month, sometimes a little more than a month with us. If nothing else, it gives them a window and at least a bird's eye view of what these diseases are like. And I can tell you that the 3 people who came to us from the Army, Navy, and Air Force, at the end of the month they were leaving, said they've seen all the blistering diseases they will ever see in their life in any part of the Army, Navy, or Air Force. So it is an intense experience, but nonetheless one that they are more likely to remember for many, many years of their life. And hopefully whenever they see any of these diseases, they will be quick to recognizing them. We do know that some people amongst us have passed away, so I'll just ask all of you to keep a moment of silence and just to pray for them and to remember them. We'll do what is most important, and that is for you to introduce yourself and also say whatever you would like, but most importantly, let people know where you live. So if anyone is within a geographically easily reachable distance for you, they can meet you. And our principal goal is to make people realize that they are not the only ones in the world who have this disease, and there are others, and they can each talk to each other and share all your apprehensions and concerns. I can only do that to a certain extent, but nobody does it better than another patient. So I really think it's important for you to network and also for you to be a cohesive collective group that feels much like a family does. Also tell us whatever your diagnosis was, if you feel comfortable saying so. I think most of the people here are in remission, but if you have active disease, feel free to so. And if you're bringing with you either a family member or a guest, please do introduce them.
Hi, I'm Bob Peckrell. I live with my wife, Pat, in Duxbury, Massachusetts. I was diagnosed with pemphigus vulgaris in June of '93, and I had active disease that became somewhat extensive through about '96. And I was at a lot of different, I guess, topical cortisone and stuff and Cytoxin for a while. And then I had IVIG, and that really, I think, drove my disease into remission. And basically, I've been in remission since 1996 and basically live a completely normal life and have done everything and anything that I want. And it's still on my mind to some degree, but you know, I do what I want and have lived very well for ever since the disease went into remission. And hopefully that will continue. If not, there's Dr. Ahmed.
No, you don't need me, guy.
My name is John Pasek, and my wife Susan is with me here and was with me throughout this whole ordeal, which was a comfort, even though we didn't know what was going to happen from one minute to the next. Probably, I want to say, it's hard to remember exactly, but around 2002, I contracted this pemphigus vulgaris, the common variety of pemphigus, and it took about 3 months to get diagnosed, or maybe it was even longer. It took forever to get diagnosed correctly, and finally I did, and I had the good fortune of having an aunt who was a nurse at that time, and she's since passed on, but she said, you are the first person, she was a nurse since 1969, said, you're the first person I've ever met that had this disease. And so she made some calls around and talked to some people in various places. And luckily, I found myself with Dr. Ahmed. And it took about 2.5 years and a whole batch of different kinds of medications. But it was the IVIG that really put me into the safe zone. I'm not exactly sure, but I think I've been in remission for about 8 years. Probably since 2007, I'm not sure, maybe about 8 years probably. And as I say, it's a wonderful gift to get up and be able to eat what you want to eat and not, getting scared when you look in the mirror. All right. So I thank you, Dr. Ahmed, and all of your staff, particularly Phyllis, all right, who was very helpful every time I had a problem. But anyway, once again, a tremendous gift and blessing. Where do you live? I live in Holden, Massachusetts.
Stand in front of anybody. I'm Julie Kemble, and my husband Bob is with me. And fortunately, he's been with me for all of this. I've had a 13-year search for whatever it is that's the matter with me. My eyes were treated separately. My dental work was treated separately. And I've been one who's been hard to diagnose. I had gluten intolerance when it wasn't fashionable. And nobody knew what to do with me, and they rolled their eyes when I came in and said, I'm sick, and they said, no, you're not. And so it's been a long search, and I remember the words of my PCP when she said, I wish you luck on your journey. And it was because of my eyes that I found Dr. Ahmed, because I had 4 bouts of blepharitis in 2 months, and the doctor thought that was a little excessive. So she sent me to Dr. Stephen Foster. Some of you may have met him along the way. And he peered into my eyes and saw the scarring and said, oh, I know what that is, and immediately sent me to Dr. Ahmed and said, and get a move on, get there quickly and get started. And all of a sudden, after 13 years of searching, I was on the roll, and I didn't know what to do with it. But I have OCP, or ocular cutaneous pemphigoid, and suspect my grandmother did too from all the symptoms I have. But in any case, now I'm being treated. I'm having my 4th session of IVIG tomorrow. Don't know what to expect, but I do have 2 really great weeks and 2 not so great weeks. So we're hoping that that will kind of spread itself along, the goodness part. And very grateful, very, very grateful for the help. We live in Hingham, so not so far from you. So if there's a contingent of us down south of the border, it'll be easy for us to get together. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Krista Alexander. My husband Paul, we're from Hudson, Massachusetts. It didn't take me that long to be diagnosed. Fortunately, it only took about half a year, which is probably a short period. For a lot of you, it probably took longer than that. But I've been with Dr. Ahmed since I was diagnosed, which is wonderful. I'm still getting IVIG, but they are pretty far spread apart, and I feel wonderful. I am in remission, and I plan to stay that way, and there is hope for everyone here. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, and thank you, the staff, too. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Barry Kay, and my wife Karen is joining me here today. I have bullous pemphigoid, which began in 1999, and it took a little bit of time for the geniuses at Mass General to just figure out exactly what it was. But I was hospitalized in March of that year for a couple of weeks for treatment of the traditional ways of treating with prednisone and immune system depressants and that sort of thing, which did not work very well. So after 3 years, my primary dermatologist, Bonnie McCool, told me that I had to see Dr. Ahmed because that was the only way that we were going to stop this. And she was absolutely right. I had treatment beginning in June of 2003 and continued actually until August of 2006 because of an unrelated illness halfway through. And I've been very, very, very happy with everyone at Dr. Ahmed's facility. At that time, we were over close to New England Baptist Hospital. and now he's moved to a, I guess a new and improved facility, which I have not seen yet. I hope I can visit sometime, but not for professional reasons.
Can you give it to
Yeah,
me?
and we're a couple of miles down the road here in Brookline.
Can you give it to Dr. Shah?
Good afternoon. My name is Nayan Shah, and here's my wife, Reena. We live in Tobacco, New Jersey, and we have been married for 28 years, so we have outlasted Dr. Ahmed's support group. I'm a practicing dentist, and I have been practicing for the last 25 years. I was first diagnosed with the condition pemphigus foliaceus in 2002. I was treated by a local dermatologist. It went into remission in 2005. It went into remission right after, within a year, and started getting lesions back in 2006. And I was treated by a dermatologist at UPenn. And basically their way of treatment was to tell me, take steroids, immunosuppressants, and that's the way of life. Until through a common friend from India, a dermatologist, she recommended Dr. Ahmed, so I drove all the way from Jersey to Boston, and he said, I can treat your condition. And it took me almost 6 months to convince myself that I would drive to Boston. But once I started the treatment, I said, that's the best thing that happened to me. I had so many lesions on my face that patients would constantly ask, is anything wrong with you, doc? And my answer was no, it's just a skin condition. Eventually, within a period of 6 months with IVIG, the lesions started disappearing. I was out of steroids, no immunosuppressant medication. And I think in 2013, that was my last treatment, and I've been in remission since then. And I would like to thank Dr. Ahmed, Phyllis, Bruce for their excellent support, not medically, but also morally. Helped me a lot. Thank you.
I am Gregory Kapilovich. It's my wife, Clara. We are from Lynn, North Shore. I contracted a disease called pemphigus vulgaris in 2007. It affected my mouth and throat. I have in my mouth blistering like cherry. Dr. Ahmed saved my life. Thanks for him treatment. Presently, I am in a long remission. I hope my disease is cured for good. I want to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Ahmed, his staff,